It is now.
Kim was supposed to be in the
Yeah. G'day, Kim. Yeah. Okay. Well, welcome to the October meeting and the final meeting, really, of our term. Next week we're going to caretaker mode, so today will be the last time we can make any official decisions anyway. So welcome, and I can probably preempt it all by saying thank you for your service over the last 5 years. Okay, so we'll start the meeting, and I'm flagging a bit here. We've got some additional. Oh, yeah. Okay, so call for apologies. Councillor Galvin's one. Councillor Egan moved, and we accept that apology, seconded by Councillor Dixon. Those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against, no, carried. Now call for declarations of interest, gifts received, and conflicts of interest.
The minutes of the previous meeting.
Want to do this first?
Oh, you can if you want.
Yeah, I think you should. There's none. You want to declare anything? Or?
I'll just put it there.
Okay, righto.
I'll just note that you noted.
And then we have some additional 8 items that I'd ask that you might include on the agenda.
I move, Mr Mayor.
You move them, there's 4. Thank you, it's been moved and by Councillor Colton, seconded by
I'll take it.
Councillor Smith. Put the motion, those in favour say aye.
Aye.
No, carried. Also like to note Councillor Smith's here when he's in harvesting, a fairly dedicated councillor, this bloke. Well done,
We
Jeff.
need him.
We do need him. Now the next, what have I got here? Yeah, confirmation of the minutes of the.
Can I note the draft that was sent around for some reason showed the August date on top of it?
Oh, I didn't.
No.
I didn't notice
Saw
that. No.
But that's been corrected, obviously.
Okay.
It's the 26th of.
So this
It
is
was the 30th
of all the
September.
committees in there.
No, just the minutes, the confirmation minutes.
Okay. Oh, the previous meeting. Yeah. Okay. Could I have somebody move the confirmation of the minutes of our previous meeting, please? Councillor Young, Councillor Smith. With that motion, those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you.
There's some people on here for the presentations.
No, we are to have a presentation, which would have been next on the list, but we're not here. So was that going to be a minute, that late item or not?
It's it's in the confidential.
Yeah, right. Okay. So I've got the agenda for the bloody committee meeting. You said it's there. That's what I want. All right. Okay, item 1 is the committee recommendations to council. Public Infrastructure Committee, and it's all there in front of you.
And there is one small change. There's an additional recommendation added to the initial classification and categorisation of Crown land. I've added, with the council's concurrence, that the category for Cranky Rock Reserve 87886 as detailed in attachment 1B amended from natural area general community use to natural area bushland.
And that means, Max, can you just,
Well, that means that initially the council actually owns where the house and the barbecue and all that sort of, we actually own that. It's not a reserve. It's the surrounding bushland that's actually the reserve. So
It's across the gully. It's bushland.
that was,
yeah,
just want to make sure that the government doesn't think that they can take what's ours.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Somebody like to move the committee recommendations to council? Councillor Egan and Councillor David Colton seconded it. I'll put that motion. Those in favour say aye.
Aye.
No, carried.
The
Thank
door
you.
downstairs is unlocked.
Wide open when I walk in.
Oh, was it? Yeah, it wasn't a weekend.
Oh, we came in through the,
Yeah, they can get into the
I think the
tourist
lease
office.
I
opened
did
it.
open the other door.
Well, Robin will bring him in. Item 2, councillors' activity report.
Well, because Cherise was going on holidays.
She's put some in advance.
She added in advance.
Yeah. But it's a fairly extensive list, and it shows how busy everybody's been. and much appreciated. So would somebody move the recommendation report be received at least?
I'll probably move that with the date for that RFS staffing issue thing is incorrect in there.
Yeah, all right. Look, it's never 100% correct. Councillor Young's moved that anyway. Seconded, please. Councillor Moore, put the motion, those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Item 3 is the engineering report. There's an officer recommendation that report be received. Need a mover?
Yep.
Councillor Egan, second it. Councillor Smith, put the motion, those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Okay, item 4. Vaccination hubs was just a report to say what happened, and it's happened again since then. Somebody move the recommendation?
I'll move that.
Thank you, Councillor Dixon, seconded Councillor David Cole.
Yeah, as a whole shire, like it's pretty well.
We're up over, we're nearly 90% first, and I reckon by the next reporting period, which will be next Monday, we'll be over 80% double.
Yeah, right.
We've gone really well.
Over 90 first dose.
Yeah, we're up near 90,
Yeah.
and the increase in second dose as a percentage in the last week, in that week period, was 10%. 10% increase. So
We're above Inverell anyhow.
the way I see it,
Benchmark.
if you've got 89% first back, it's not long before you've got them second back.
Yeah.
So we're going to be there by the first, I think.
Those vaccination hubs were an excellent
Yeah,
added extra to getting it done in these small towns, wasn't it?
you can thank Mark Colton for that. He went to the Royal Flying Doctor Service and
Yeah.
got it for us. Where are we up to? Did I get a move in a second? I did.
Yes.
Thanks to Mark for that.
Sorry?
Have
We-
you noted thanks to him
We,
for that?
we sent a thanks
Yeah.
for the first one, and, you
Because
know,
that's helped us a lot. That will help us.
It got
a lot.
us up.
That'll be something that.
It was, I mean, if the residents that were vaccinated all came from our shire, which they probably didn't, it would have been 10% of our population that were done. Yeah. Righto, we've done the engineering report, vaccination hubs. Item 5, September investment rates collection. So we need it's in detail.
All that money, isn't it?
So yeah, it's the same standard report as every month. It's not going to get any better, I don't think, while ever all this grant funding money is coming in and out with timing. Projects just don't finish by the 30th of June to have them acquitted and the last lot of money in every time. So it'll just be a rolling thing. Rates
But
collection
we're
is
not
still...
complaining about that, are we,
no.
Helen?
I don't think you can, no.
No.
I mean, it's a good thing. We've got money coming in to do projects that we would eventually have had to fund ourselves that are going to get funded. It's just the timing issue we have and the way the accounting standard is now of recording that money coming in and going out, so.
Yeah, and every council or every rural council will be the same, and I wouldn't think we'd have a problem with an auditor on any of that.
No. Well, the rules are the rules.
Yeah.
You can't treat it any differently, but we do know that we're making massive improvements across the shire that isn't coming out of our pocket. The
Yeah.
results mightn't truly show that, which is a frustrating part of, they keep changing the accounting standard so that it's not really a true reflection, but that's what you've got to do, so.
Is there any questions of Helen? You got any more, Helen, to add?
No, that's,
Thank you, Councillor Young. If Councillor Young moves the report, you know it's pretty right.
Ooh.
I need a seconder.
Must be right.
Councillor Dick.
It must be right.
It was a compliment, Councillor Young, on you, even though you didn't hear it.
That's why I didn't second it.
I'll put that motion. Those in favour say aye. Against no. Thank you. Item 6, Visitor Information Centre and Roxy
This
Complex.
is the first item from the late agenda.
Okay, we're on the late agenda.
Just shows we haven't been doing anything.
So the really interesting thing there is that the potential Roxy Cafe lessees are actually in town now.
Yeah,
Oh, they are.
yeah.
Got it, have I?
Dated date of opening.
I think that they are in the process of just cleaning up. There's a little bit of construction work that's required, but we've got to negotiate with the heritage people because it's heritage listed.
So how much are we moving that around? Is it a big impact on our budget or not?
Moving one around.
Well, it said that we're moving the front counter, or
Oh,
is it
no, it's-
working on the front counter?
It's not, it's minor.
I
The
might,
trouble is when it's
Heritage
a
listed.
listed building, like,
we have to apply for everything.
yeah. I mean, some people would probably do it and ask later for approval, and other people try to get the approval, and you run up against all the red tape.
So nothing's actually moving. The front counter, the sink is pop riveted together,
Yeah,
and
terrible. I
terrible.
think it'd be great to fix it.
yeah, so that will be changed. And there's we thought it was white ants, but apparently there's ants called sap ants that are
Are they?
less. They're
Sap-
called
yeah,
sap
sap, yeah.
ants.
Are they black or?
I don't know what colour they
Yeah.
are,
I think they're
but they're
little
less
brown ones.
aggressive than white ants, and it's better to have sap ants than white ants. So the Roxy Cafe had sap ants that did a lot of damage, but not only surface damage, not deeper damage that a
so
white
it's not
ant would
so
do.
bad,
So it's cosmetic, and we'll get that fixed under the heritage guidelines as quick as we can. It's along the skirting board, along the underneath the booths, and at least 2 booths, maybe 3, have been damaged, the backs of them,
Okay.
by sap ants.
Sap ants.
Well, I'll take a broad swipe, I suppose. We're on the Visitor Information Centre, but I'm going to include in that and ask you, I know I've asked you before, about the RTA, what it used to be
Yep.
anyway. When did you say that would be a 5-day-a-week service in the 2 towns?
It'll start in January next year.
Good.
Yeah. Bingra will be tricky because we don't have a council office.
No.
So we probably won't be able to offer that 5 days a week until we sort out what we're doing so we can bring everyone together. It'll stay where it is. We may be able to offer 5 days a week from that location. We're just not sure yet
Okay. Yeah.
because it's our finance staff that are going to be delivering the RMS services as well.
So is that, the staff for that, are we partly funding that? I mean, the RMS wouldn't be funding that for
We
5 days.
always partly fund the RMS service, but we're paid per transaction. So
righto.
it'll actually be a saving with our finance staff being trained in RMS as well, because they're there doing the customer service function anyway,
Yes.
5 days a week. So it'll be a saving in staff
So,
costs
Increase in service.
and an increase.
oh, yeah. And so to pay your rates, for instance, you'll go there.
Yes,
That will be a difficult time for a little while, the transition time, while you educate everybody that.
it will be a bit tricky, but we've had nothing but positive feedback
Yeah,
about that, mainly from the staff. And at the Visitor Information Centre, people just go there expecting to be paying their rates now. So
Yeah.
Kelly said they're turning people away all the time, so
Oh, I see.
it may not be that tricky of a transition.
So I take it there'll be no front desk after this, once this starts?
No, there'll still be a front desk where you can come and talk to someone and organise meetings, but not the receipting.
No.
So it's really just a receipting function that'll move to the information centre,
Okay.
and it'll be a 5-day-a-week RMS service.
That'll be well received, I think.
It'll be much
do
better.
too.
You know, the days that it's open, people are lined up for miles, often around this time particularly when they're
harvest
trying to get harvest trucks sorted. So it'll spread the workload as well. I think it's a win-win
I
situation.
do too. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, the recommendation's been moved. Sorry? And I need a seconder. Councillor Egan moved it. Seconder, please. Councillor Young. I put the motion. Those in favour say aye. Okay. Item 7 is the certification of the 2021, 2020 and 2021 financial statements.
This is a procedural thing
Yeah.
which you won't be able to do
After-
at the November meeting
No.
because you're not going to make any decisions. But we need to have this to be able to refer it onto the department.
That's right.
So I'll have those documents ready for you two to sign at morning tea time.
Okay.
If I can get you to sign them for me. and then we start our audit next week. The auditors start next week and they're on site the following week for lodgement by 30th of November. So it's just really bad timing this year that
Yeah.
we had to get the extension, and then that extension leads into caretaker mode, so we
Well,
just
we-
have to get this formality.
Are we likely to have a report from the auditor at a meeting, or?
I don't imagine that will be till December if we have a council. Do we have a council meeting in December? At
No,
all?
no.
No, so it'll be January that we
Oh,
would,
right. That's
which we
probably,
could potentially, that early January meeting might be an opportunity for that first council meeting to have that presentation.
I suppose so. That'd be the only business we would conduct though, at that
Yeah.
meeting.
And you elect the-
No, we have the elections, and it's
Yeah.
basically for that.
So everyone would be here for that, so if
Yeah.
that suits.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be within 5 weeks of receiving your audited statements when you lodge them, but that's just not possible.
No, I know.
I imagine the first possible date will suffice, which
So
would
the
be
11th of December, isn't it? Well, 12th.
The 11th of January.
January, I meant to say, yeah.
Well, you've got to have 21 days after the declaration of the election, you've got to meet. So they're talking about the 21st of December being the target date for the declaration of all the elections. So
It's nearly Christmas Eve, isn't
I
it?
know it's it was crazy.
Yeah. Thank you. No, thank you. You're going to sign it. So. Yeah, no, David Young, what's his name, Colton, seconded it. I will put the motion. Those in favour of that say aye.
Aye.
Against no carried. Thank you.
There's all that.
Quarterly budget, sorry, automate. Thank you. Yeah.
So it's just the normal quarterly budget review. We don't normally, this time of year, we don't normally do it till November, but once again, it's been brought forward as well. There have only been minor changes to the budget. There's nothing of real materiality that I need to really point out. The adjustments for a lot of projects that we couldn't do before end of year have been put through. So the bottom line did change by about $400,000. Yeah, I can answer any other questions that you have.
Anyone have any questions?
I'll second that.
Thank you. That was Councillor D. Colton, seconded Councillor Dixon. Is there any questions or any further discussion before I put it? Put that motion, then those in favour say aye.
Aye.
It's carried.
Helen, do you want to introduce Nini to the councillors so they know who?
Yep. So Nini is our new procurement officer. She's been working mostly with Alex at the moment because Alex has so much money to spend.
We need
Going to be his little angel on the shoulder, I guess, to the right bit, rather than the devil.
He needs one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you want to introduce yourself?
So yeah, my name is Nini, and I'm originally from Sweden, and I moved to Australia because of my boyfriend, really.
Them bloody Aussie boys.
Yeah, that's it. So we lived in Brisbane for a while, which is where we met as well, and then Newcastle, and then to here, where he's a paramedic here. So that's what.
Right. Well,
In
welcome, Nelly. Welcome to our family.
Yes, the one with all the leads.
How do you spell your name?
N-I-N-I.
Oh, N-I.
Double N-I.
Yeah.
N-I.
Double N-I.
Yeah.
Mr Mayor, I'd ask Lily to attend today's meeting because she's assisting me with item number 3, that was the tender for the panel contract for move equipment and gravel trucks. In the event that you had further questions for us, but the report was obviously comprehensive enough that everybody understood and it sailed through questions.
So yeah, we'll be trying to put these panel contracts in place, and then along the line, I'd like to do the same for electricians and plumbers as well, so that we can engage them just easily, hassle-free, and in line with all of our rules. And probably once the new after the election, I'll probably be talking a lot to council about policy as well, because we have an opportunity to update some of our policies and get some new ones in place as well.
All right, that's good. All right, so I think we're up to council reports, aren't we?
Yes. These people are very lucky.
Yeah, I know. You want to kick off? Council reports, yeah, please. Councillor Egan.
Can I just say that you and I left our preschool reports, the policies that Susie wrote. She wouldn't mind if everyone turned them in if you finished reading them. Because
That massive thing, yeah.
yeah, she'd be able to hand them to the educators rather than reread them. Everyone's finished with them. So that was one thing I've got.
Yeah.
And the street lights, I know they're mentioned here in that next lot of funding, but going home the other night, there was a man fell in the street and we drove along and found him laying on the roadway where he tripped on the edge of the pavement. There's not enough lighting, and I mean, you could have had a liquid dinner for all I know, but he did to help the situation, but he was laying on the road.
You should take better care of David.
It wasn't David. He was laying on the road with current come around the corner, so he's in all sorts of
What
trouble.
street are we talking
We're
about?
talking
Maitland Street?
Street. Maitland Street and Kira Street.
But also just on lighting, and then butt in, Catherine, coming home after a meeting in Morialda, the intersection of Junction and Finch Street heading
Just
down,
equally as bad.
it's equally as bad, and we weren't driving, but the driver commented. We were passengers, and the driver commented, oh, where's the corner?
Well, this is going to be provided for, isn't it? There's a
The
grant.
worst lighting was Street.
Well, it's one of the projects.
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
Well, that's, but I thought I'd read
yeah,
through it.
and they're going to, the suggestion is solar, solar.
Yes. We had to be the man undertaking for it.
Mm.
It's a lot of sense.
Is that you done?
That's me done.
Thank you. Councillor David? Nothing? Francis?
And I thought it was just me on that Junction and Finch Street corner. I always seem to miss it.
What?
And then you got to go,
Oh, you didn't fall over.
It is a bad one,
That's
though.
at night, or during the day, they cut it. They
Yeah.
don't go around there at all, they cut straight across.
Yeah.
But at night, you just don't see it.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
really quite bad.
And further to Junction Street, the bend, people are coming very quickly around there, cutting that corner, we need an extra metre on that bend. If that's possible, Alex?
On
Well-
the outside of the bend
Well,
here.
I don't care if you
We're
go on the
looking,
far side and realign it and everything.
well, we're designing the path around there. Maybe we could fix that up as well.
Would the councillors be amenable to a speed hump or something to that effect?
Is he here?
No, because, no. You know what I look like?
Well, that slows people down.
Is he there? Can you see?
Can we put it
Oh, yeah, he's there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I'll interrupt it for
Well, do you know what I
Traffic is
mean,
increasing
though?
unbelievably.
We came round on our side yesterday for another cut.
Yeah, they do, they cut the
They
corner.
had an extra metre to go wide on.
Mm.
It wouldn't be quite
There's
so
quite a lot of
long.
work.
It is quite dangerous. There's more people using it.
Is it worse on a Friday night?
I'd say it would be, Jeff.
But it is, like, a lot of people do take that now instead
Did
of
you, have you got anything else or you done? I'm just I'd like to stop the meeting now for a little bit. We've got a presentation on. Somebody just whistle Robin to come in.
Robert,
You might have to go up there today.
Hey?
You might have to go up there.
Not today, to Robin, not me.
Leonie, everybody probably knows
yeah.
Leonie, and isn't that Razzle? Hello. That's from Barron Brug, Australia. And they're here to present this chair to the Country Education Foundation.
yes.
So just a bit of the background, the Country Education Foundation wider is a Section 355 Committee of Council. And we haven't been able to fundraise the last couple of years because of COVID, so we're struggling financially. And we only entered the competition and won it and nominated our committee as the charity. So it's awesome.
Very good.
And the committee provides financial assistance to students between the ages of 16 and 25 that go on for further education. They must be white residents. They have to meet certain criteria, show a financial needs, show an aptitude for their studies. And applications are open between now and December. We've already had one application for this year, for next year. And yeah, this money will go a long way.
Robin, what's the typical amount that you would grant?
It depends on each applicant.
Mm.
But if they receive money from us, it often opens other doors for co-funding. So CEF Australia has relationships with certain unis. So we've had 3 students this year that have received funding, substantial funding, for accommodation at different unis. We don't have enough money to give them that. Like typically, our students get enough money to pay for a laptop.
Yeah.
It may buy uniform, textbooks, anything related to their studies. But by getting money from us, it gives them other opportunities.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah.
So it's great.
It's very, very good.
So my daughter Jessie, she's at uni this year in Brisbane. She got a scholarship last year which bought her a laptop. And just through that connection, I've sort of been talking to Robin, and we've been trying to also sort out a little bit of a McGregor Goulet direct sponsorship every year with us there, as well as this which I won. And after Jessie got the scholarship and I saw the opportunity to enter this competition, it was just the first thing that came to mind. Like, I want to win this and I want to give it to Robin, because they have had such a tough time fundraising this year. And whilst Jessie got a little bit, it's nice to give a little bit more back.
That's great, Leonie. Very good of you. And Nathaniel, you might pass the council's thanks on to your company for the sponsorship.
Yeah, so just a little bit of background about Barrenburg. So we've been in Australia since 1991, formerly known as Heritage Seeds, and so quite a rich history throughout regional New South Wales, especially with the McGregor clan as well. Been doing quite a bit of business with them. In 2019, we renamed to Barrenburg, and so a big piece of the international business is make life beautiful and giving back to the community and things like this. So this is just another way that they do this through trying to support, especially during COVID, small communities and donations and stuff.
Yeah, well, it mightn't seem like a large sum of money, but it means a lot to a small community.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And it's really nice for it to go to a really unique small community instead of getting lost in Armidale or Townland or even Inverell sort of thing. So, I think we're very fortunate that we can go to such a beautiful area.
Thank you very much. It's much appreciated. Yeah. 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 Mm.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. See you. Bye.
Kev, are you going to send me a copy of that photo? Email it to me, please, so I'll put it in the minutes. I neglected to declare an interest too in that item 1 in the confidential bit, which I should have declared.
Oh, okay. Well, you have now.
Thank you.
Round to Councillor Dick. Nothing. Councillor Moore.
Yeah, Max, did anybody get in touch with Darryl Dawson about these vacant blocks?
I passed it on to both Saul and Patsy. I don't know whether they go on Andrew as well about the water. I don't know if they've contacted him, but I asked them to.
Yeah. Well, that was just one thing. Bit of good news for Catherine. You know where you got your house up there?
Yes.
The one on the corner, on the left-hand side, made big money. 425,000. I sold that bloody bought the house for.
It was that Gilmore, Johnny Wilson's house, wasn't it?
No. Where St. Peter's on the opposite.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, they've all gone.
Done pretty well. I'd also, being on the Chamber of Commerce, I'd like to thank Council for their support with the lights in Morialda. They brought a 6-metre tree to the value of 10,000.
Christmas tree.
They raised 10,000.
14,000, I think they're right.
No?
14.
14 now, is it? Yeah.
And I volunteered Alex people to assist in putting it up if needed.
Yep, very good.
I think, Curly, if I
Going
could,
to do it personally?
you know, he's going to get Ninny to do it, I think. Curly, can I add to that? I just would like to add my congratulations to the Chamber. I got a call from Max where Tom had rung him looking for a donation from Council, which we gave, and within a week he'd raised, about $14,000.
Yeah.
And I think it's absolutely incredible. And the difference, I suppose I can say this over publicly, but the difference in that chamber and the previous one, they've got the community support. They went around and looked for donations and they got them. And I got nothing but accolades for that. I think they're going really well. And
They're putting a fair bit of effort into what they're doing.
yes.
The only thing I find that's a little bit of a worry to me, being on the chamber, is they're applying for grants and getting knocked back
Yeah.
on a lot of them, and I think that's the way they do it, rather than
Do you?
the grants that they're applying for.
Mm.
Yeah. So I suggested contact Max or whatever and get a bit more professional about their writing.
Maybe they could have
Effort
a
to put into it.
lesson with Susie Webber. Mm. Mm.
And then I'll bring up the Heritage Park thing again. Thanks, Max and Alex. I noticed on page 11 of the Crown Lands thing, that's listed in there as Heritage Park. Do we need to change that if it goes back to Pioneer Cemetery?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, right. And that was about. Another one was the Apex chairs in front of the courthouse. Max, are pretty depleted. You probably might have to talk to Apex because I think they originally put them there.
Well, we're negotiating at the moment about taking responsibility for the public toilets.
Oh, yeah.
And part of that, I understand, is improving the street furniture that's available in that area and putting a path through to the public toilets. We're doing that so that we can close the ones behind the council chambers because we're going to do some renovation works on the council chambers.
Yeah, right. Other than that, that's all.
Thank you. Jeff? Yeah.
No, the only thing, Curly and I went out to North Star there, not last Monday, the Monday before, represented the council in the announcement of the new
Ilstra Tower, was it?
the communication towers at North Star, Cropper Creek's a small one, and Krubel as well, so it's pretty well. Mark gave a bit of a talk, and I had to give a bit of a off-the-cuff talk, and then another girl from the railway, she had a bit of trouble getting we had to mic up, and she had a bit of trouble getting it down through the front. And, I said I'd give her a hand.
Not allowed.
You're a practical
So
person.
quite interesting because it was, I think there were, thanks for putting us into that too, Alex. This recording.
Yes. Your reputation is now very good.
Anyway, it was a good day. We talked to
Alan
Allen
Yeah.
about that. I think Curly mentioned, but I think he just said to give him a ring, and he'll sort it. He's pretty happy with everything, and was happy to sort of keep going with everything.
Yeah.
We've got a good, from those people, we've got a pretty good, relationship out there. I think.
Yeah.
We'll accept it.
It was all good.
That'll be a hell of a boost for those 3 communities, won't it?
Yeah,
Phone service.
Yeah, big boost.
Yeah, that's good. Part of history. That makes
That's all I've got on.
Thanks, Stu.
No, good.
Nothing? Okay. Oh, hang on, we're going around again.
Yes.
I did forget, and Councillor Smith talking about communication towers, the Bingler communication tower up here has been a hell of a problem, and Carl's been backwards and forwards trying to get people within Telstra, and now we've gone on to other telcos because of the battery backup is not working. It's ongoing and ongoing and ongoing, but we are slowly getting somewhere, I think. So hopefully that's going to get, they said something by April 2022, which is, we've said not good enough because you're on the end of a power line here with no chance of getting something from the other end, so hopefully that will go forward and we'll get something done up there.
No, but what I've been suggesting all along, and I don't know if it's been asked for, is a generator there that kicks in when the power goes off.
That's been asked for.
Has it?
And Carl has been up there and had a look at everything with Andrew Ward.
Yeah.
And the infrastructure up there is pretty knocked about, but each one's got their own individual. There's 3 towers.
Yeah.
And so you're going to have 3 hookup points.
Yeah.
So it might be something that the RFS has got a generator stored down here that we've got to blow up there, we can just run it up and put it there, because he doesn't seem to think, I think it's about, we're not sure, there's a 2 kVA or 4 kVA that need to run it.
Yeah.
But it's not that big a generator to plug in, so we might be able to do something that way, but it is ongoing. It's been pushed through the federal member Barnaby and local member Adam to have something done, but we're now onto some telco. It's gone through the New England JO as well, so I think Max has been CC'd into all this stuff, so he's aware of what's going on, and so yeah, so all the help we're getting to push this forward to get this problem fixed, because if you get a hell of a big storm or something like they've had in Armidale, all your communications down here are totally gone, and no chance of getting them back until you get power.
No, and I think the only way it'll get fixed is to keep pushing.
Yeah. So I just thought I'd bring that.
Okay.
I just received a text from Amber Hall just to say, please pass on my thanks to council for asking me to do the aerial footage of the Warrialda bypass. I did 5 videos and just want to express my gratitude to you and your colleagues.
Oh, very nice. Thank you.
And are we doing any more?
Yes, we keep going. We've got some more reports yet. Oh, sorry, are you on the...
More
Oh, right.
videos or aerial footage or anything like that?
There will be further videos from a different supplier.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, mine was further to Curly and Jeff, but Dave has answered some of it. I was going to comment on the towers here, but Dave's answered that for me for Bingra. However, I would like to know where the Hawken stands.
Well, we asked Barnaby that.
I wrote down
Yeah.
Has
Had a meeting
Hawken
with
had
him.
any satisfaction at all?
Barnaby had a meeting at Upper Horton prior to him coming here, and I asked him if they mentioned the tower, and he said that's all they talked about. So they probably mightn't have had any satisfaction. At least they've expressed their...
He was going to fix that.
But how many times do we express our...
That's right.
And how many times do we meet with Barnaby and Bridget and all his cohorts
But you
and
know-
get nothing?
You know what's even more frustrating, I think, is that they put a tower at Captain Dam not where they were going to put it, where it would have had maximum service, and it's hopeless.
Yeah, it's no good.
It's just so disappointing, and that's done now. That'll never change. But
So it was Cobden and Horton that we met with Barnaby
yes,
and Bridget,
yeah,
and we've had no satisfaction.
no,
And the Horton, if they're left high and dry, that's a big community to be suffering like this.
it's also a worry when there's a fire on the
Yeah,
communication.
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
They've got lots of fire area
Yeah,
out there,
right.
and we've had big fires out in that area,
Yes.
and they've had nothing.
Hopefully, Councillor Regan, after our meeting with Barnaby, is well aware of the dissatisfaction within the Bingra community towards him. And
Really?
some action.
Why, mate?
Well, he mentioned it at a party meeting in Canberra, what was said here. So it did sink in, I think.
Goodness.
I don't know
for
what
that.
else we can do, Councillor Regan.
No, I know, and we've tried, and we've,
Did you have
Does-
any satisfaction with the meeting, from the meeting with Barnaby?
No.
Did you gain any sort of pressure?
No.
did you feel like he would remember that he'd been here 2 hours after he
No,
left
he
here?
wouldn't.
Well, the fact that he mentioned it next week at a party
Oh, well,
meeting
he's
in
recalled
Canberra,
it for
he's actually
a
remembered
week.
us. But,
He lasted 7 days.
Look, he was on a mission to find out what we thought about emissions, the zero emissions thing. That's what he was on about. So we then went on and told him about our circular economy plan and how we couldn't get finance for it. Biodigestor, yeah. So and I don't expect we'll get any funding.
And that'd be like a drink of water.
Yeah, I
He
know,
probably
I know.
doesn't drink
We
much of
did
that.
an interview out the front here with Sky News, and I happened to, I don't normally watch it because it drives me crazy, I happen to see you standing right in front of the Bingra Roxy.
But what about, was it Leo, you saw the thing he said, or is it you, Alex, about I'm building a road here at Upper Horton?
Yeah, I think he filmed himself as he was driving when they were doing the building works, the road building works at Kingsland in front of there. So the
Did he spread that around or something?
No, well, he said that he paid for it, didn't he?
He claimed it, yeah, that he was headed out to Horton and he came across these roadworks that had been funded.
Which is completely inaccurate.
Yeah. And it was, I think it might have been on Instagram or something like that, but it was a video of it.
Did you see it? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have.
Anyway, we better get off this. Yes,
and that's not finished.
Okay.
We're still carrying on from Councillor Moore. The land, you're right, Curly, we need the land in, I've been approached by the agents when I was with them the other day and they said, well, what do we have? We've got nothing left to sell.
It's exactly the same in both towns.
Well, it's Warrielda I'm speaking to.
Well, it's here too, or it will be soon.
Will be here soon.
And we really do need to address that.
We need to.
And
That needs to
the
become
problem
a
with that
priority
is it's going
for
to
us.
be a long-term project no matter when we start on it. That's the problem.
Yes.
But Tom Smith contacted me, the president of the chamber, the other day, and he said that in the last 2 months, all the blocks have sold in Warrielda that were available. And there's not too many houses for sale. It's a good problem, but
Do we need to put it out there to people with double blocks, for instance, that are sitting on them? Has Tom approached those sort of people? But anyway, it's just that the agents all concurred that there are no blocks and no homes, and we need to.
I put it to the general manager about whether we could sell the blocks undeveloped, but that's not a desirable way to go.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Now, Councillor Dick, I'll go to you. Sorry.
Since David and
You put your thing on.
the people have been working on the communication.
Can you turn your microphone on?
The RFS have moved a communication trailer to Bingra.
Yes, I knew that.
It has got a large generator on it, whether that could be utilised up there.
I dare say it could be, Councillor Dick. I think it's just a matter of getting the people to put the infrastructure there, is that they can just go and shove a plug in.
You put your microphone on, please, Councillor.
Sorry. That they can, it's to get the infrastructure there so they can plug a generator into it. I mean, I think as far as getting the generator, we can probably find generators big enough to drive it.
That's what Carl was telling me. Apparently you need a licensed electrician at the moment.
Yeah,
because
to
they've
wire
actually
it.
got to
There's
wire it
no
into
plug, yeah.
Because we've had 2 cases with the RFS recently in the last couple of months where all communication has failed. The office can't either ring brigades, they can't talk on we did have the PLR, which is our own communication, but if we'd had a bad accident or something there, we wouldn't have been able to respond.
Councillor Dick, I had a meeting the other day, a Zoom meeting with a couple of ladies to do with PMO, which has now been renamed something else, different acronym, but and they were just checking about the towers that we have in the Shire and the ones they're using. I was probably a bit optimistic when I said there was a chance we'll get one up at Horton, and they were keen to hear about that. I talked to them about, between here and Copeton Dam, the black spots there, and it seems as though the only way around that is mobile tower. You can't cover it no matter where you put it. But it was interesting in that they were government employees and they were doing a bit of a survey, a bit of research, and I think we'll meet with them again about this very problem. Yeah.
What does PMO stand for?
I don't know.
It's a problem for the paramedics as well, because when the power goes out, everyone that has an oxygen tank, they have an alarm that goes off because someone needs to check the oxygen tank when the power is out.
Yeah.
But if the mobile service is also out at the same time, they won't get, like the people that are on call won't get a call.
No.
Because they are relying on that mobile service. So when it's happened, they've actually like had, officers coming down from Warrielda to Bingra, and come and sort out the oxygen tanks and then knock on the door to wake their on-call officers up. Because, and it's a problem. Like, they can put things in place to mitigate that, but only if the people who are shutting power down talks to them and tells them they're not going to have service.
Yeah.
Because what happened previously was that they were told that they were going to put a generator on and it was all going to work and their phones would be working. And then, no, not at all. It's just...
I didn't think of that, Anyway, I guess it doesn't matter. It doesn't happen that often, does it? But it's an essential service. And
but it's still you know, for the duration of that power outage, you don't have paramedics.
No.
Like, that's the paramedics from the next town are the people that would come.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Mr Mayor, we've had these couple of complete blackouts in winter, but the fire season's going to ramp up in January. If we have the same blackouts in January, it'll all hit the fan.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just no communication.
No, there'd be communication when you're on the fire scene with your local, just your two-way radio, but that's it, isn't it? That's it, yeah.
We've got to get the trucks there.
Yeah, you've got to alert them, yeah. Anyway, all right, well, it is being worked on, but I don't think we have a very satisfactory answer yet. No. Okay, I think it's my turn. I'm going to suggest as a recommendation to the next council that we form a policy on naming bridges and ovals and things like that.
We actually have a resolution on that, and I think that Robin Phillips was working on it.
The reason I mention it is that I've got a letter here from Leslie Brown Kerr, who, and there's a group of them that want to rename Nicholson Oval after her father. And my suggestion back when we had that resolution, Max, was that if we do name things after people, then it'd have a time limit, say of 10 years, and then it can be renamed. Because it becomes irrelevant for the next generation. Maybe 10 years is too short, but I can cite an example, I suppose. There's a Janet McMaster Bridge on the road to North Star, and she's been deceased for some time, as has Gordon Nicholson, I suppose, and there'll be a generation that have never heard of it, and it has no meaning. And I'm actually dead against naming things after people anyway, but that's probably...
I thought that was our resolution that we did that.
No.
I thought we did too.
Well, we were going to form a policy and we haven't done it.
I think we indicated that we weren't prepared to name it after living people.
Yeah.
But we also wanted a policy.
See, and it's difficult, isn't it? Because he's a man that I didn't know, but after reading this, he did a lot of work to the construction of that oval, voluntary work and seeding it. And it's named after Gordon Nicholson, who was a Shire president for a long, long time and a very respected person in the community.
4 years,
Yeah. So, what do you do? I don't know.
I'm a bit like you, John. I don't think we should name them after it. We had an example where at another committee, all these people were commended for what they did, and the most important person that did the most of the work wasn't mentioned at all.
That's right.
And I think
That's right.
that you leave yourself open
Yeah.
for criticism of not acknowledging person A, but acknowledging person B, C, D and E.
There was another example of that in Warialda where there was a group wanted to name the rec ground after Jim Payne, who was a very successful coach and footballer for Warialda, bit of a legend, and another faction in the community stopped it.
So we named it after Captain
You
Cook.
can't win, whichever way you go.
No, the rec ground, not the... Anyway.
Park in front of it is there.
Captain Cook, who was he? Did he play for Australia?
Yeah,
I think he was played fullback.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Anyway, that's...
The other thing, just thinking on renaming after 10 years, it's a bit like in some countries, when you buy your plot of land to get yourself buried into, after X amount of years, they resell it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they haven't got enough room. So
Well, and that person's probably finished with it anyway.
I think once your bridge's name should be left, never to mention it again.
If I can have a comment,
Yes,
I think it's important. I would love to name something after Sister Elizabeth.
I agree with you there.
Warialda, like,
Yeah. I do.
Not that crappy little lane you don't make.
I reckon the new park we're putting in.
So whatever policy we have, I think it needs
that's
to
not a bad idea.
recognise
Yeah.
differences.
in stature of the people. I agree. I think that's hard to be the judge of that, isn't it? But that's a well-known figure.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
something Morialda should be very
That's right.
Mm.
and
And
celebrate.
what would be
and we
better
don't.
than the all abilities part, because that's what she fought for, people's ability to get up and go again.
She did, and she, made a difference
She made,
internationally.
yeah.
But you're talking about the one we're going to develop.
Yeah.
In the middle
Yeah,
of
I
town.
think that's a big idea.
The one we've bought
Develop.
or in the process of buying.
Yeah.
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 More people would suit by.
Yeah.
I also think John Plunkett's a man in
Yes.
Warrialda that doesn't receive recognition.
He got a
for-
street.
He's got a
named
street
after him.
after him.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
fairly ordinary.
Wouldn't you like an Egan Street?
No, I don't.
Oh, you've got Lover's Lane.
yes, he's right.
I just think John Plunkett needs more recognition than he gets.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
That's Getty Street.
Well, the only other thing I wanted to add was that it's been discussed about the blocks. I think we really need to make that a priority. Make
Yeah, I
blocks
do
available.
too.
Norm is working on it.
Yeah, I
He's
know,
been
I
working
know.
on it since the council passed that resolution.
The problem that we've got, and I know we can't overcome it, is that the blocks are wanted now.
Yeah.
And we're not going to have them, like, if we're going to develop them, Alex's team's flat out building roads and...
We are verifying that the Moore Street lots, just verifying with Curry Powell that price hasn't changed to develop those.
That's
I think there's
put the
6
electricity
blocks
on it.
Can we, if those blocks have a waterway through them,
there. Yes.
is that the only thing holding them up?
Oh, well, we can overcome that problem with the water.
There's the planting and everything, we could have a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, plus, it becomes a selling point, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Not everywhere has a lake.
Got it.
Yeah, like Bingo.
Just
Well-
back to that point that someone made about people sitting on double blocks, perhaps there's something council can do, whether we put out some sort of promotional burst to say, if you have a double block and you're interested in selling off, come and see Patsy or Colin. I don't know who you need to see, but we could possibly do that. It's not going to be the answer, but there could be 1 or 2 out there.
Or an alert, do you
There's a
know what
lot
your
of
block's
double blocks
worth?
in
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we should broadcast the good news, how quickly
Yes.
the blocks of land have sold in Warrialda, just to let
Are you listening, Kim?
people know. Is that an opportunity, Max? Like, yeah.
What infrastructure, 2,000 people.
But Gaffer, we don't, those blocks I'm talking about, they're already subdivided, they're already there. We just need someone to talk to them
No,
about.
but they're not serviced, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they're not serviced.
And that's the slow bit, getting
Yeah.
power and water and
What's the
sewage.
expensive bit?
Yeah,
How
yeah.
long does it take to, to get it through? Say some of that land up behind the, sort of, east of the hospital and the road.
Yeah.
In there where old Charlie Wood.
Yeah.
Like, whether you could make another street, and, I mean, there must be services pretty close to there.
Yeah.
And it's up high, I reckon blocks up there would go like anything, but if they were developed, but, I mean, how long when you say?
You're probably looking at 12 months.
So you've got to dig a sewer line in and water and then get power. So it's just, and Alex's equipment's all tied up building road.
I realise that.
Unless Ninny wants to buy another excavator for us.
You sell blocks unserviced with the hope of being serviced.
That was what I was saying.
Yeah, you got to get that through you,
My
Ellen.
parents moved from Carrick to Sydney. They had a dirt road, no sewer, and eventually those services came.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, there'd be-
because-
obviously you're not going to be able to do them now, but say, we said, you buy the block, but you might not have service for 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, I heard the other day that land on the other side of the river, and I did see it. And it's not, well, it's sort of that end of town, but on the other side of the river. And then say, was it 4 acres or 40 acres?
41 acres and it's sold for $450,000.
$450,000, and then there's another 10 acres over there that is also going up.
That's the best place over the other side, mate. That's God's country.
Yeah, And that hasn't come
And when we get sewer over
It kicked you out.
Is that a biased opinion, councillor Dixon?
Funding for
She was
development
expelled.
like that, is there a grant we can get to sort of
No.
fast track?
I wouldn't have thought so.
Nothing?
Well, they won't give you grants when,
Right.
like we tried to get the grant to put on the electricity and they said no, because you're going to sell that, you know, like,
Yeah.
so it's got to, so you won't get grants for that.
You'd be in direct competition with private enterprise, wouldn't you?
But if we put water up to the Burrenbar subdivision, the opportunity then for the ones closer to the road, because
To
it's
subdivide
subdivided
it.
into smaller blocks.
That's true.
There's no doubt about that, and that would, you know, I think be immediately available. All we've got to do is put water. Water is the restricting factor there.
It is.
How's that grant for that sewage over the other side going?
Slowly, still chipping away. Apparently we aren't on the high priority list at the moment. Like they're working through other.
I thought Adam Marshall promised he would fund that once the.
I thought he did too.
He did, I was there when he said it. All right, there's no more reports. Yes, there is.
With regard to what Leah said about promoting the large blocks, is there an opportunity to have battle axe blocks
Yes.
under our LEP?
Yes.
Do the real estate agents know that? Could that be an avenue? Because a lot of the blocks in Bingara, for instance, they're long and skinny.
Yeah.
You know, you can get to the back of them, provided somebody hasn't put a shed in the way. But yeah, that could be an opportunity where
Yep.
Usually battle axe blocks have got to be a little bit bigger than your normal
Have they?
blocks, but
Yeah.
like there's blocks in Bingara that could accommodate that. We have sufficient money to pay for that over the north. That's why I think the government are reluctant to commit themselves to the green.
In the sewer, water
So
sewer.
we're moving forward on it.
Yeah.
We can fund it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's.
if they had the sewage over there, you might be able to, there might be more blocks for land, of land.
I've got no
over
doubt in the
side,
world,
but
if sewerage was put over there, there would be
Oh, that's
the
heaps.
ability to subdivide.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
All
a
right.
problem to have.
I suppose it is. It's frustrating though. We've actually got
We need it.
the space, but we can't use it yet. Yeah. Anyway, that's it from me. I think we might break for morning tea and come back in the confidential session afterwards. Yeah.
You want me to respond to that?
Okay.
Yes.
All right, I'll just call the meeting back to order, having had morning tea, and I'm looking for a mover to go into confidential session, please. Councillor Deacolt and seconded Councillor Moore. Put the motion, those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Stop the recording, please. Okay, now, Max. No, it's done.
The following recommendations are out of the confidential part of the meeting for the council to consider. On the personnel issue, it was that the General Manager be congratulated on the positive outcome of his annual performance review. And on the discussion revolving around the Attract, Connect, Stay research program, the committee recommends that the subcommittee of the Guida Health Alliance, that the council supports the decision of the subcommittee of the Guida Health Alliance to withdraw from the Attract, Connect, Stay research program.
That's it.
So you need to move.
So, yeah, I'd certainly like to move that they be accepted onto the general meeting. Councillor Young, and seconder, Councillor Dixon. Put that motion, those in favour say aye. Councillor carried. That then concludes this meeting. Thank you very, very much for your attendance and once again for your work over the last 5 years. We have one more meeting, but we're